The U.S. Supreme Court today in a 6-3 and a 6-2 opinion, one with Harvard, one with UNC, so a private university and a public university, outlawing affirmative action as we know it in the United States. And what we mean by this definition of affirmative action is basically where in Harvard, there were 4 final factors. Race was one of them that would be a reason why you beat someone else out. And they said, having it that direct, that it wasn't based off the person's experience growing up maybe as that race, but just because that's the color of their skin, that's their background, that gives them an advantage. Or if they happen to be Asian or white, a disadvantage. Racial minorities in the United States of America are being discriminated against because of affirmative action policies so that it's no longer serving the purpose that it was supposed to serve. So we're going to go back and say, individually, your life story is important. And that could mean something to a college admissions process. If you came here as an immigrant or your parents were immigrants, or you have this life story of, I think Chief Justice Roberts pointed out, if you've overcome some obstacles in life, and maybe one of those obstacles is the zip code you were born in, you can, of course, put that in your application, in your essay, or if that's asked in the essay. But the school just can't say, well, this student's black, this student's Asian, we're going to go with the black student because they're black.
And I think the real test of this particular opinion is whether or not university admissions officers will agree, A, with this opinion, and will agree with what Justice Roberts said earlier. Admissions officers are more inclined to agree with Ibram X. Kendi's approach, which suggests that the remedy for past discrimination against blacks or other minorities is present discrimination in favor of blacks. And so I think that is the real test going forward. But I think Justice Roberts has provided a good roadmap toward a less race-conscious future in the United States. And he has returned us, I think, to the text of the Equal Protection Clause.
So, Harry, you had an interesting point of the impact of this and how in states that have eliminated race as a factor for admission has actually been to the benefit of minority students.
Absolutely.
Significantly.
So if you look at the state of California, which is the most populous state in the United States, they repealed affirmative action. Essentially, they repeal racial preferences with respect to admissions. And guess what happened? For African-American students, for instance, their graduation rates from the University of California system actually doubled.
And why is that? What's the data showing?
Well, the data is showing that without racial preferences, students are going to universities that they are better suited to enter. This doesn't then preclude them from transferring to the University of California at Los Angeles, one of the best schools in the nation. And that is precisely what they have done. One of the issues to keep in mind, however, is that university admissions officers, they're not focused on graduation rates. They're focused on looking at the statistics with respect to admissions, and I don't think they really care whether minorities actually graduate, particularly in STEM programs and demanding programs. But California proves that the elimination of affirmative action does not have an adverse effect on members of minority groups.
We filed a brief, and we'll put it up on the screen for everybody right now. So in Students for Fair Admissions versus President and Fellows of Harvard College and Students for Fair Admission versus University of North Carolina. Let me say something on a personal note here. The law firm that handled this were very good friends of ours. In fact, they were our co-counsel when we were representing the former president before the Supreme Court, Will Consovoy. He passed away. He was the mastermind of the legal strategy here. He did not live to see the opinion, although I'm sure he knows today. I'm confident of that. So, again, to his family, I know this was a big part of his life.